please don't use your voice, as this will disrupt my speech. And lastly, let's have a fine debate for grand finale. The Trisolaran are an alien that really suffering in their world judge. They never know that they would be like this in this suffering condition, and I think in morally way, I think this would be justified if we let them to live in the world, to live in Earth in a while. But in OG and CG, they didn't want to accept this kind of thing as an individual, no matter what. I think you should help them in the principle of utilitarian, that every people that exist, that if they are vulnerable or they're suffering, you have to help them anyway, whether they are your society or they are not your society at the end of the day. Before moving to my extension, few rebuttals for OG. Firstly, they said that, oh yeah, there will exist of the overpopulated in the earth. Tree is proud of this. I think no. Why? Because overpopulated is not exist in the status quo. Why? Because I think Gen Z and others actors that exist in status quo is not have any interest to make a kid. Why? Because look at the issues right now that exist in the status quo, KDRT, cheating, and etc. That this kind of issue that exists, it's preventing them to not making kids anyway. It's not their main plan anyway. B, even there is overpopulated in our side. I think this is okay. Why? Because you know that NASA is already starting a program to make a second Earth, for example, which is NASA to mobilize them to have new places for life, for example. C, I think it means that we're overpopulated for the things that are not really important anyway, and I think overpopulate is I think beneficial for our Earth to be contributed for us. Secondly, they said that, oh yeah, they cannot live because there are existences of a different language. To respond of this, I think this is not important, Judge. Why? Later, because you can use. I think there is another solving mechanism, which is you can use your symbolized hands, for example, like I love you and etc. Or your mind, for example. B, in the context is already told you and explaining you. This is for 40 years before their armada is coming and to coming for them. It means that they look and they watch the human, how they talking, how they used to live in the world, or in the earth, and for example, and they learn about it. So that's why I think language is not even important cases in your side anyway. For that, yeah.
Okay, you might accept as acceptance of Earth as a temporary problem. How can you prove that Earth can inhabit these aliens, especially when it occurs to you that Earth's overpopulation exists and it's going to destroy ecosystems? And how can you prove that they will move after a temporary wall? And since it's a natural motion, you're supposed to do within humanity's interest instead of the aliens.
Okay, I think this is not an active motion. This is not active motion panels. This is a belief motion. I think this is not we have to fulfill the burden. Why this is the interest of the society or the earth, but we make the in perspective, the third perspective I thought why we could call up the benefit that more huge in a beneficial way anyway. Your POI is not important anyway. Moving on to my extension. Firstly, why it should be prioritized in outside instead of armed resistances in CG and OG cases. In morally, I think this is good enough for you to accept them. Why? Because by the perspective of utilitarian, I think we need to help each other at the impact that would likely improve prioritize the diplomatic cooperation. Firstly, you can build to protect the world, the earth, each other, to be protect the earth, because now they are in the same place. For example, in implicit way, I think that they have a burden to help the government and society also. So it creates a symbiosis relation, but relation at the end of the day. But I will make it a big spectrum. For example, I think this is the diplomatic cooperation. It will be co-op in economic way. For why this is why this is likely? This is lead. For example, I think instead of they would just sit and quiet. For example, you can give them a job. For example, at least to help the government economy. For example, to make a food like UMKM or other business that could be other business to be giving a tax for the government. At least they have a survivability to live in any way in the earth and in earth, for example, because there's resources. I think it's not absolute because they were gone at the end of the day since time by time. So they have an intention and incentive to work anyway. It creates a world that more progressive panels. This directly to respond OG cases that about overpopulate. Also, I think this is good because we give them a job to help giving a tax to the government. For example, this is likely. Why? Because the tax is the main contributor in our GDP. If the tax was significant, I think you use for the subsidize the poverty, for example, to expand for the military tools, for example, or the infrastructure that will be more inclusive in the earth, for example. But in comparative in OG and BCG side, when they are used as upper exercises, I think this will be bad and I think the society in their side will be danger also. Because firstly, I think the government is the first actor to start a war. This is not good because they don't want to be they want to protect the society also. For us religion, that's why it should.
Thank you, DLO, for the kind remarks. Now, to start the closing up, I welcome the member of government.